Hello YouTube. Robert Alvarez, the Psychic Witch, also known as Mr. Lighting in a Fan. The time is approximately 9:37 p.m. and the date is Wednesday, September 25th, 2019. It is 2 nights after the autumnal equinox, or what some of my fellow witches and pagans call Mabon, the second of the 3 harvest festivals. The first was Lunasa, or Lunasa, or Lammas rather. Lunasa or Lammas, which is traditionally August 1st. And this is the autumnal equinox is the second one, and of course the third and final of the harvest festivals in the witch's wheel of the year is Samhain, what many call Halloween. So continuing one of my favorite series of videos, show you the cover from Llewellyn's 2019 Tarot Calendar. We have September 2019. This one has a spread, so this is going to be a little bit longer of a video, but we're going to be talking about the Ten of Pentacles, one of the symbols from the Ten of Pentacles, and a blurb that the Barbara Moore wrote called The Culmination of the Minors. And I will be using, it's so funny, my intention for using Llewellyn's 2020 tarot calendar is to have the tarot decks that are featured with the spreads. And I know that I have so many tarot decks published by either Llewellyn or Los Scarabeo, so I know I have some of these decks already. But in the meantime, ironically, I will not be able to use a Llewellyn or Los Scarabeo tarot deck. In fact, the tarot deck that I'm using is nowhere near the kind of tarot decks that Los Scarabeo or Llewellyn would normally publish, but you'll find that out for yourself soon. So in the meantime, I'll start with the blurb about the Ten of Pentacles. Many versions of the Ten of Pentacles show the Tree of Life. Yes, especially those of you who are fond of using Marseille-style tarot decks. Even though I know very little about Kabbalah, well, to me I know very little about Kabbalah. I know people who are a lot more proficient in their knowledge and wisdom about Kabbalah. I know more than a little bit, but I would not say that I could have a functioning conversation with someone about Kabbalah. I could have a conversation with them where I ask questions and do a lot of listening and a lot of reading and writing, but I would contribute more to a conversation about tarot or the goddess or crystals or the chakras, but I'd be primarily silent on a conversation about the Kabbalah, which is fine by me. So many versions of the Ten of Pentacles show the Tree of Life. The tree represents, among other things, the manifestation of spirit on earth, and how the physical realm reflects spiritual truths. As the last of the minor cards, the Ten of Pentacles is a card of completion. Numerologically, from my standpoint, from what I've learned, from what I've intuited, 10 cards for me represent the completion of one cycle and the beginning of another. In my readings, I've often interpreted 10 cards as this door has closed and this door has opened. Sometimes I've even interpreted 10 cards as this door closed, at the same time this door opened. And for me, it does come up that way a lot, but more on an intuitive level. I tend to look at 10s, and it's so funny because recently I had a conversation. I want to say that I had a conversation with someone who had a reading with me at Notions and Potions on Saturday, September 14th, 2019, which was the date of the full moon in Pisces. Gratitude and praise to Imoja. And I remember saying that I did not always know the traditional meanings of the cards. And it wasn't until someone wanted me to teach them the tarot that I learned what the traditional meanings of the tarot cards are. And one of the traditional meanings of the Ten of Pentacles is an inheritance from a faraway country. So sometimes, especially those of you who interpret the tarot traditionally, or as what the books say, you might find that this card comes out and the client has relatives who live in a country which is far away from where the reading is taking place or from where the client currently lives. Of course, one of the first things that I learned about the tarot through my personal psychic advisor, Roger Pratt, is that Pentacles cards relate to physical health matters and financial health matters. And in matters of romantic relationships, Pentacles also have to do with sexual expression. So I look at the Ten of Pentacles traditionally from the perspective of wealth and opulence. Either the desire for wealth and opulence or the manifestation of wealth and opulence. I look at the Ten of Pentacles, Bast, what are you doing? That's Bast. Or as my awesome audiovisual person calls her, Bast Sekhmet. By the way, she is more like Sekhmet than Bast. And to me they're two different goddesses, but I see the similarities between the two of them. I do. It is my primary pantheon after all. But as I was saying, I can see that the Ten of Pentacles indicates that there is a cycle of unwellness or unhealthiness that is closed, and a new cycle of health and wellness that has begun. In matters of romantic relationships, I would say that Ten of Pentacles means that the client is dating somebody who is sexually overwhelming. You know, somebody who could have sex 3, 4, 7, 10, 20 times a day. You know, the person that would exhaust most people. Hell, I'm exhausted just thinking about that. And I love sex. I'm Cuban, and I'm a Capricorn, sign of the horny goat. But I've had a very busy week last week and this week were really busy, so I'm still recovering. But I'm okay. I am okay. I'm a little tired, but I've eaten some great food today. I took a nap earlier. I'm having plenty of water. I had my beloved coffee. No, I had tea this morning. I had tea. Believe it or not, I did not have coffee today. Maybe that's why I need a little more perk. But as much as I love coffee and tea, I need to drink more water over the next few days, which is exactly what I'm doing. In the meantime, I'm going to do this in reverse. So I'm going to read, I read the Ten of Pentacles. I shared my insights on my insights, both intuitive and what I've learned from other people and other books about this tarot deck, about this tarot card. Now I'm going to read the Barbara Moore's blurb about the culmination of the minors and the symbol. By the way, I'm going to have my awesome audiovisual person do a close-up. This is the Ten of Pentacles from the Steampunk Tarot. You know, it's funny, I'm not a big steampunk person, but I find that style of artwork drawing me more and more. So I have a feeling that the Steampunk Tarot might become one of my newest acquisitions. I don't know yet, we'll see. The culmination of the minors. Tarot reflects... Hold on. This is a wonderful way of breathing, by the way. Inhaling through the mouth and exhaling through the nose. Several years ago, my Reiki master teacher, Joe Tolko, taught me this is a wonderful way to activate, strengthen, and recharge the chakras. As one of my favorite authors, Marjula Panja, refers to them, the goddess gates. So whenever you need to recharge your goddess gates, individually and collectively, inhale through your mouth and exhale through your nose. Okay. The culmination of the minors. Tarot reflects all the beginnings and endings that make up human life. We shuffle the cards when we lay out a spread because real life is full of chaos and diversity, all in different combinations. Looking at the cards in numerical order, we can learn lessons about life as well. For example, the minor arcana begins with the Ace of Wands, the impetus for life, the drive of the will, a true beginning, a new beginning. And it is no coincidence that traditionally the Ace of Wands corresponds to the date of the vernal equinox, what many of my fellow witches and pagans call Ostara, which in Western astrology is the first day of the sun's transit in Aries, meaning it is the first day of the new astrological year, and of course spring represents new life energy. So it is about new life energy, new life beginning, or life beginning anew. The minor arc sequence ends with the Ten of Pentacles, which is the culmination of spirit after it has gone through all the other minors. Which makes perfect sense, because before we get to the Ten of Pentacles, we need to get through the Ten of Wands, the Ten of Cups, and the Ten of Swords. Not to mention Trump 10, the Wheel of Fortune, but I digress. Symbol, card being held. The prosperity of the family in this card has a stable, healthy foundation that is nurtured by love and respect. It can withstand the unknowns or challenges that the future may bring. I love that. I want to actually sit with that for a moment, and then I want to reread that. The symbol, the card being held. The prosperity of the family in this card has a stable, healthy foundation that is nurtured by love and respect. It can withstand the unknowns or challenges that the future may bring. You know, over the years, I've shared very little about my blood relations. And I honestly can say that I do not hate any of my blood relations. I certainly do not hate my mother. My mother has a lot of faults, but she's human. I'm in a human body, and I am the first one to admit that I am not a saint, nor do I have the desire to be a saint. Nevertheless, I came to realize that my relationship, or rather my association with my mother, was very toxic for me. And some of you watching this video knew that it was a very difficult decision for me to sever all contact with her. In fact, I think severing contact with her a few months ago was the most difficult time I had ever doing so. And I think it was the most difficult time I've ever had severing contact with somebody that I do care about. Do I love my mother? No, I don't think that I do. Does that bother me? It does, actually. Because I think it's very natural for someone to love their mother. Their human mother and their divine mother. But loving my mother is costly. It costs me energy. It costs me physical health and well-being. It costs me time. And it costs me money. And it bothers me that I would tell my mother on numerous occasions that I do not hate her and that I do not harbor any ill will against her, and that I would tell her this in a soft voice and in a screaming voice, and her reaction would be the same. And I'm sharing this with all of you now because reading what Barbara Moore wrote about the card being held really resonated with me on a deep level, and it really hit my heart on a very deep and powerful level. As the great goddess is my witness, I do not hate my mother, but I do not love her. And if I'm ever going to have any degree of happiness, wealth, joy, and peace in my life, I cannot have contact with her. My mother was acting like my mother. And I didn't realize that at the time, that she was acting like my mother. And what I eventually realized, and personally, I think I realized this far too late, was that I do not need someone to act like my mother. If someone is going to be my mother, they need to be my mother. I am currently 49 years of age, and if memory serves, my birthday is on a it's a Wednesday next year. Whatever day of the week Christmas Day is this year, that is the same day of the week as my birthday, because my birthday is January 8th, and it is exactly 2 weeks or 14 days after Christmas Day. And my mother has had the opportunity to be my mother for more than 50 years. If you include the time of my conception, she's had more than 50 years. She's had more than 5 decades. She's had more than half of a century. And I think that I've waited long enough. I think that I've waited more than long enough for her to be my mother. There are other people in my life who have no problem giving me love and nurturance that is very maternal. I can think of at least 3 of them off the top of my head. And it's interesting to note that all of them have at least an A in their names, prominently. Either first name, middle name, last name, or even all 3. A is very significant to me because in Spanish, and in Spanish-speaking cultures, the feminine form of a word usually ends with the letter A. And it's no coincidence that my mother's nickname and her birth name all contain at least one letter A in it. Not to mention, she and I have the same last name, which has 2 A's in it. But the long and short of it is that I totally resonate with this. A true family does have a stable, healthy foundation because it is nurtured by love and respect. And if you are in a family situation where there is neither love nor respect, and you're neither being nurtured or nourished, then I'm going to really say something that's probably going to upset you and say you don't have a family in them. I know what real family is now. I really know what real family is now. It took me a long time to get over my issues of the word family and brother. A long, long, long time. Hopefully I will retain those lessons between this lifetime and the next, because they were painful lessons. But getting back to sip of water. Another sip of water. You know, I'm really not dehydrated, but clearly my body needs more water right now. So, create a healthy legacy. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to read the blurb first, and then I'm going to select the tarot deck that I'm going to use, and then I'm going to cast the cards. Create a healthy legacy. Card number 1, what to bring from the past. Card number 2, what to leave behind. Card number 3, what to do. Card number 4, what to reach toward. That sounds very similar to the spread for the September 2019 entry of Many Moons 2019 Lunar Planner. Interesting. Legacies draw from the past, are shaped by the present, and contain the seeds for the future. Whether you are creating a legacy for your family, your business, your memory, or the world at large, this spread helps you use your resources to create something worthwhile. No one's history is perfect. The first step is to curate what to take and what to allow to fade. Number 1, something of value that you should bring forward from your past. Number 2, something from your past that will not serve your present or future self. Card number 3, An action you can take to nurture and strengthen your legacy. Card number 4, a vision to guide you in the future. Now before I do that, I'm going to have my awesome audio-visual person hand me the tissue because I think I need to blow my nose, or at least take care of my nose. Thank you so much. And I want to tell you, I live for lotion-infused tissue. I cannot imagine using anything else. Okay, that's so much better. And now, one of my new favorite cologne waters, Kananga water. By the way, I haven't mentioned him in a long time, but one of my favorite of my fellow magical YouTubers is Conjurer's Table, Maddie. And Maddie recently did a live streaming video, which I was not able to watch, unfortunately, at the time that it was live, about the differences and the similarities between Florida water and Kananga water, which, by the way, now I keep both in my day bag. Okay. So good. By the way, I stand corrected. I thought the primary ingredient in Kananga water was orange blossom. It's actually lang lang, which is not coincidental since lang lang is often used magically to heal and cure a broken heart. So I'm going to use one of my personal favorite, yet not commonly Robert Alvarez the Psychic Witch oriented tarot decks, the Kawaii Tarot by Diana Lopez. And so I cast these cards. I call upon Isis Fortuna, goddess of the sacred tarot. May everything that is revealed bring clarity and illumination, love and life, prosperity and peace, wholeness and healing, wisdom and knowledge, guidance and strength. And if it be your will, Isis Fortuna, may it resonate with those individuals who are watching this video now. May these cards, and may the casting of these cards bring illumination, light, wisdom, knowledge. May it help them move forward. And may it help them refrain from ever turning back, going back, looking back. I've cut the deck into 3 piles. And Isis Fortuna, thank you for setting aside the final message card for me in advance. And with that being said, I am now going to lay out 1 card at a time to make it easier for both my awesome audiovisual person and myself. Okay, card number 1. Something of value that you... Take a breath, Robert. Okay. Several years ago, one of my clients taught me this. When you can, take off your shoes, or in my case, my flip-flops, and place your feet on the ground. I am grounded in Gaia energy. I am grounded in Gaia energy. I am grounded in Gaia energy. Okay. Card number 1. Something of value that you should bring forward from your past. I'm going to show you first. If my awesome audiovisual person needs to do a close-up, this is the time. And now I'm going to look at the card. I'm telling you, I cannot make this stuff up. Originally, I was going to declare I am grounded in Gaia energy twice, but the great goddess said do it 3 times. And of course, the pentacles correspond to the earth signs and to earth energy. So, something of value that I should bring forward from my past. The acknowledgement and the veneration of my ancestors. And more specifically, with regards to you in YouTube land, the honoring, the acknowledgement and the veneration of all of our ancestors, individually and collectively. Okay. Card number 2. Something from your past that will not serve your present or future self. So again, I'm showing all of you first. I'm having my awesome audiovisual person do a close-up. And the card is Judgment. Ah! So judgmental attitudes, judgmental criticisms, any kind of judgmentalist attitude, leave that behind. It's interesting to note, you know, the one thing I don't mention about my mother is that she's also an ex-convict. But that doesn't bother me as much as the fact that she's an alcoholic and a drug addict. I've met people that used to be in jail, and some of them have become amazing people because they were in jail. I'm going to add one more interpretation for this card, because traditionally this is the card that depicts Archangel Gabriel, who is the divine messenger of the archangels. So I would say also any negative emotions, because remember, Archangel Gabriel is astrologically aligned with the moon, and the moon has all to do with emotions. So any negative emotions, leave them in the past, keep them in the past. Okay. Card number 3. An action you can take to nurture and strengthen your legacy. I'm going to show all of you first. I'm going to have my awesome audiovisual person do a close-up. And I'll look at the card. 8 of Wands. So for me, the 8 of Wands is about overcoming obstacles and barriers. So right now, what is one obstacle or barrier that you can act upon that can help you secure your legacy? And for the record, right now in my part of the world, it's approximately 9 p.m. and 5 minutes. So I'm probably not going to do this now. I might start working on it tonight before I go to bed. But actually taking action, I might not do it until tomorrow. Okay. Card number 4. A vision to guide you in the future. So this time, I'm going to have my awesome audiovisual person do 2 close-ups. The first one of the card in position number 4. And I'm going to turn it around. I'm not going to look at it yet. I wanted to do a close-up of the back of the design of the card, which I also love. I do wish that I could tell if it's upright or reversed before I turn it over. But, you know, whatever. So the card number position 4 interpretation is a vision to guide you in the future. Oh my God, it's the Ten of Pentacles. Oh, I gotta confirm this. Hold on. Really? No, it's 10 of Wands. Let me make sure. That would have been so wild if it was the 10 of Pentacles. Seriously, that would have been like, what? You cannot make this stuff up. It is 10 of Wands. Okay. It is 10 of Wands. Okay. Oh my God. Okay, I need a moment. Because the color scheme of the pinwheels looks very similar to the color scheme of the 10 of Pentacles. And Trump 10, the Wheel of Fortune in this tarot deck. That's why I'm like, look. Okay. 10 of Wands. A vision to guide you in the future. So the vision is right now, you probably will need to do a lot of hard work. Probably. 10 of Wands to me is always about the client is desperate for a vacation. So I'm going to say this. Whatever you are doing in your life right now, professionally, personally, spiritually, magically, there's going to be a lot of hard work. That does not mean that you will always have to do a lot of hard work. But it does mean that right now getting as much rest and relaxation as possible is so very beyond imperative. You know, I was telling one of my neighbors earlier that I took a nap earlier today and that I took 2 naps yesterday. And I want to tell you, I needed those naps. I don't think I'll be able to take a nap tomorrow. I wish I could. I can say that if I don't take a nap tomorrow, I know that Friday there's no chance of a nap. No nap time, no nappy nap time on Friday. I wish. But anyway, and the final message card is, I want to make sure I got it. Justice. This is the second video I've done in a row where the final message card was a major arcana card. And I want to tell you something. It's interesting to note that in this reading, both Judgment and Justice came out in the reading. So, I have to ask, are some of you dealing with a legal issue? If you are, I am going to recommend working with Archangel Michael and the appropriate goddess. That's what they said. Who is the goddess you need to work with the most with Archangel Michael? Is it a legal matter pertaining to money? Call upon a prosperity goddess. Is it a legal matter pertaining to romantic relationships or a marriage or a divorce? Call upon Juno or any other goddess of marriage, and if there are children involved, any mother goddess. Is it a goddess that has to do with your different facets? Call upon a multifunctional goddess. For example, if you are in the process of divorcing your mate or your spouse, who is also your business partner, and all of you have children, you might want to call upon Mayet or Osset, who's more commonly known as the goddess Isis. I don't know. I have a feeling that if you are dealing with a legal issue, and I cannot overemphasize, make sure that you have a really good attorney. I have learned from people that had really good attorneys the importance of having a really good attorney. A really good attorney does not need to cost you your soul or your mortgage or a third of each of your paychecks for 3 to 5 years. But I will say a good attorney needs to be a good attorney. And usually the best way to find a good attorney is to receive a referral. One of my favorite people on the planet had once recommended an attorney to me. She said this was the one that I used for my divorce. That's all I needed to hear. Okay, what's her number? Let me call her now. I called her the following day, and she did what she needed to do. It wasn't a major situation, it was a minor situation. I was being charged a certain amount of money, and the amount of money that I was charged was, well, let's just say that it was an incorrect amount, and it was an incorrectly high amount. So working with an attorney, I got it reduced to a reasonable amount. Meaning I didn't need to get a second job, which was fine by me. In other words, I did well, and she did well, and all that other good stuff. So there you have it, ladies and gentlemen of YouTube, the Create a Healthy Legacy spread. I really enjoyed this spread. This was a lot more fun than I thought it would be, and interestingly enough, I found it to be very healing. I found it to be very emotionally and physically healing. As I mentioned in a few videos ago, I have a side position of employment, some of you know this, and my hours, generally speaking, are part-time the first 2 weeks of the month and full-time the 3rd and 4th weeks of the month. My full-time period was from Sunday, September 15th through the day before yesterday, Monday, September 23rd. And I not only worked every day of those 8 days, but from Thursday, September 18th through Monday, September 23rd, I did what I call split shifts, which means that I worked in the daytime and I worked in the evening. Girl, I'm tired. Believe me, I would love to be in bed right now. But my commitment to catching up on my YouTube videos is stronger than my commitment to going back to bed. Some of you would be like, but Robert, you have these clean, soft sheets, you have a memory foam mattress, you have a memory foam pillow. Bitch, I'd be in bed right now. Bitch, don't you think I'd love to be in bed right now? Bitch. Okay, bitches. But hey, this makes me happy, and as I've said before, and as I will happily say again, so long as I enjoy making YouTube videos, and so long as the people who are divinely guided to avail themselves of my psychic services after watching my YouTube videos actually avail themselves of my psychic services, then I will continue to make YouTube videos. By the way, some of you have been pestered by Goddess about using my psychic services. You keep ignoring her. She's getting the wheelbarrow ready to fill it up with cinder blocks. You know what that means. She's not going to say, look out below! She's just going to dump it on you. She keeps telling you. You keep listening, but you're not doing anything. Remember, the Goddess provides. One of my constant prayers is that everyone who would receive divine blessings from my psychic services be divinely guided and provided with everything they need right now to avail themselves of my psychic services right now. That means that if you have everything you need right now and you're not booking an appointment with me, then you're ignoring your divine guidance. If you're ignoring your divine guidance, then why are you watching my YouTube videos? Because I'm always about following one's divine guidance. But I digress. But seriously, I would recommend that if you have been pestered by any specific deity or any specific spirit, this is the time to finally listen to them and finally take action. Schedule the appointment. Find out what my rates are. Contact me. Ask what I offer. I don't have an issue with you doing that. I don't. Because I don't believe in anybody assuming anything. I mean, yes, my email address is thetarotman@excite.com. But if you've watched any of my videos, especially during the last 1 to 1.5 years, you know that I don't just give readings with tarot. And you know that I don't call them tarot readings, I call them intuitive card readings. And you also know what I do to develop and strengthen my psychic abilities. And you know about some of the other psychic services I offer that I don't advertise. But that's another story. But for now, YouTube, I wish all of you many blessings of love and light, prosperity and peace. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you for all the likes, for all the shares, for all the comments. You know, the comments make me happy. Comments make me happy. And definitely, I am very excited that I'm going to continue this series using Llewellyn's 2020 tarot calendar. I can't wait. But for now, I wish you all many blessings, and I wish all of you a good night.